Major breaking news coming out of Derby County as they have one, agreed a deal with Blackburn Rovers for the signing of Lewis Travis, and two, are close to agreeing a deal for SK Sturm Graz right back Max Johnston. And this is a massive move for the future of Derby County as we get into a position where we can start to punish the EFL Championship. Now, both deals are within the region of £3 million. And it's going to be very good to see these players come and join Derby County and take us to that next level, especially given the poor start to the EFL Championship season that we have had so far. Now, obviously, there is a lot to talk about in regards to Lewis Travis and in regards to Max Johnston, and we're going to cover everything in this video. But before we do that, make sure you check out my matchday vlog from last night's game down in the comments. And make sure you check out the likes of NordVPN, kitbag and CD keys to get all of your important goods. But should we now get in to Derby County's latest transfer update with Max Johnston and Lewis Travis close to joining? I'm going to be live around 5 o'clock tonight to talk all things Derby County, as well as do a watch along of Arsenal versus Leeds United. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you at 5 p.m. Now, this is a huge move for Derby County, as it was reported yesterday that Derby County and Blackburn Rovers have agreed a deal worth in excess of £1.2 million for Blackburn Rovers captain Lewis Travis. Obviously, as we know, Lewis Travis played under John Eustace at Blackburn Rovers and was the skipper for Eustace during his time there as well, which shows how important this move is for Derby County. Now, in terms of Max Johnston, talks are currently at an advanced stage and a fee has been agreed of around €2.5 million plus add-ons, and the player has a decision to make as a range of clubs in Europe continue to monitor him at this present moment. But it appears that Derby County are the only one that have put in legitimate bids and are actually close to bringing in the signing of the 21-year-old right back. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Lewis Travis. Now, the fee coming from Alex Crook is £1.2 million at the moment, but the expectation is that fee could rise up to in excess of £3 million, where I believe that those excess add-ons will be to do with the likes of performances, so appearances, goals, assists, that jazz. And I assume that in terms of promotion, playoffs, things like that, I assume there'll be other add-ons in there as well, which I think for me is a very good deal for Derby County. I think I said it a few weeks ago that if Derby County really want Lewis Travis, go and spend the money. And I always said that I think it'll be a deal that will be below £2 million with add-ons up to 3, or maybe £2 million with add-ons up to 3. I thought it was just a deal which made a hell of a lot of sense. And I think if you look at what Derby County want to do going forward and you listen to what John Eustace has said across the course of his media days and things like that across the course of the last few weeks, especially since Stoke City, it certainly looks as if John Eustace wants to go down that route of being more technical, being a lot less direct. And I think the signing of Lewis Travis certainly puts Derby County in that position because, for one, he's better on the ball than Ibu Adams. For two, he offers the defensive work as well, and he's a hard worker, which is obviously what Derby County need in their midfield area. And if you're partnering with someone like David Ozo, you partner him with a Kenzo Holdmine, you partner him with an Ibu Adams, I think you've got a lot of quality in there that can certainly take Derby County to that next level. Now, let's get on to the most important deal of this video, and it's the latest news coming out just about half an hour ago as I'm recording this video, and it's that Derby County are close to agreeing that deal with SK Sturm Graz for Max Johnston, the 21-year-old right back, and the fee is around €2.5 million plus add-ons, which obviously will probably take it in excess of €3 million at the time, which is going to be very interesting to see how this develops across the course of the next few weeks. There's been a lot of interest in the Sturm Graz right back. I spoke about it a few days ago, thinking that Derby County may have messed about with this one a little bit too long, but it looks as if the deal is well back on the cards, and according to Sasha Tavaroli, he could potentially be joining Derby County over the coming days. Now, obviously, Derby County have a cup game in, 2 or 3 days' time, which is obviously going to be a massively important game where I think we're going to see a lot of players pick up those minutes for fitness levels and things like that. And if we can have a Johnston, a Travis in the door by then, I think it would be really important to get them on the pitch as quickly as possible as they sort of move into being moving to being players that are going to be, in my opinion, first team players for Derby County, especially with Kane Wilson still out, and obviously in midfield I think Lewis Travis is a better player than the likes of Ebo Adams and Kenzo Heldmine, but we're going to have to wait and see. Now, obviously, these two deals will take Derby spending to in excess of, I believe it will be £10 million this summer, which sort of matches what they spent last year. But I think this season it's been much better business, and I think the players we've brought in have been so much better. I think it's just about now getting those players on the pitch. We saw glimpses last night with Rhian Brewster, Bobby Clark and Carlton Morris as part of the front four, and I think even you saw the likes of when Kenzo Heldmine came on and the impact that he had. Joe Ward as well in that right wing position, I think he was massively influential, and I think a player like Max Johnston is just going to take us to the next level. A player like Lewis Travis gives us that outlet from the off, in my opinion, and what is going to be very, very interesting as we sort of head into the closing week or so of the transfer window is if Derby County do complete these deals, it's how they're then going to set up for the game. I think it's against West Brom after the international break with injured players returning and things like that. I do think we are potentially going to see the loan of Dejan Brown. I do think we're going to see the loan of Jake Rooney as well, because at this current moment in time I don't think it makes sense for either of those two players to stay around the first team when we're bringing in a right back, which takes away an option from Jake Rooney. We've also brought in 2 or 3 strikers this window, which then sort of takes away that option from Dejan Brown to sort of get in the team when you've got 4 or 5 players that can play in those forward roles, and he wasn't even on the bench last night. So there's a lot of work still to do for Derby County, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it does all shake up over the course of the next few weeks. I think with the signings of Travis, the signings of Johnston, there's still work to do. Derby County still need wingers, in my opinion, but we are currently waiting for those deals to be concluded. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it all shakes up in a few games over the course of that international break. How is John Eustace going to set everything up? How is those players that are currently within the building? You look at a Thompson, you look at a Ben Osborne. How are they going to feel about the introduction of Lewis Travis? How are you going to introduce those players and make it work as we move forward? You even look at someone like Kane Wilson. How is he going to get himself back into the picture? I think that right back position is totally up for grabs at the moment, especially with, in my opinion, I don't think Ryan Nyambe suits the sort of wing back role that he's been playing recently. And I think if we go to a back four, I think you need to be able to go both ways. And I think that's what Johnston adds. I think that's what Kane Wilson adds as well. But we're going to have to wait and see over the course of the next few days. And obviously over the course of the final few days of this transfer window, we are going to be live later on today. We're going to be doing like a watch along of Arsenal's game. I'm not entirely sure who they play, but we're going to be live from about 5:15 to discuss the latest Derby County stuff and watch through Arsenal's game to see how they shape up this afternoon. We'll talk about scores on the doors as well for Derby County as we sort of see the championship get underway. But obviously, for those of you who have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you go and check me out on all my other socials, the likes of TikTok and Twitch, where I will be live streaming as well. So make sure you go and follow me on those platforms. But I'll catch you in my next one later on. Bye bye.